So update, Gatorade 2025 here, Thursday, March 6th, afternoon, going into the evening, depending on where you're at. We're following the race, and midday, depending on where you're following the race. But so Charmayne Morrison, we got a second scratch, musher from Bozeman, Montana. I thought, I mentioned before the race, I was like, I think we might lose someone out there when they were going to do the original trail, departing from Willow. And I pointed out that there's just some rookies that have underprepared and just don't have Alaska, specific experience, and this is one of them that I didn't mention it. Other ones I worry about are like Quincy Mountain, the Jenny Gregor girl, Jenny whatever her name is, Rotowig, and I don't see them doing, for Charmayne though, no Alaskan experience, coming from this lower 48, hasn't done the Alaskan races, hasn't been in the wilderness out on the trails like the Yukon River, they don't have something like the Yukon River or the Tanana River, what I mean, in the lower 48 anywhere. So it's just a different can of worms in terms of what you got to prepare for, right? I mean, it's like, and I don't think it's the same thing as like the Quest, mushers from outside coming up and running the Quest, I mean, it's the same as any of these races. It's just we're just like, there's certain types of challenges anyway. So I think and I think like, I worry about Quincy Mountain, like I was saying. I worry about the Jenny Rotowig, they're coming from the States, and we're just like coming from, how many times have they, like the other one, like what races have you run in the last 2 years with your dogs? I'm not saying it's going to be true for everyone, but I think I'm not saying we're going to see like 20 people scratch and only 10 finish, right? But I think, we might see 10 or 12 teams totally scratch from this race. I wouldn't be surprised, 1/3 of the field will lose in Iditarod 2025. Not lose, but you know what I mean. They will call it quits at some point before Nome, especially with this out and back and down the river, and just the amount of time that it took these teams to get to Ruby from Tanana is a big red flag, I think. And not saying, there's still teams, 14 dogs in the teams, and there's a whole bunch of them, and they're in the middle there, but I think, a lot of these guys, even if they're back a little bit, they've got competitive aspirations, and no one wants, a lot of people don't want to come in with 5 dogs in the team, and people don't want to, it's like Jeff Dieter said, I want to come in with style, but like for the rookies, like I think it's too bad when the rookies scratch, because sometimes that can deter them from a second attempt, and it's just,